Michelle Obama is a man. His words, quote, tranny. And she/he Joan Rivers because Joan Rivers exposed the truth.
We can barely catch our breath as Jaguar Wright storms back onto the scene, swinging open the vault to one of the most radioactive celebrity conspiracy theories in memory. She's not rehashing tired rumors, she's pouring gasoline on the scorched earth left behind by Joan Rivers in the summer of 2014, when Rivers did what almost nobody dared. She broke the last polite taboo on camera and didn't flinch. It was July, and Rivers, queen of the red carpet and destroyer of reputations, was hit with a routine paparazzi question. Would America ever see its first homosexual or female president? Without missing a beat, she fired back, "We already have a homosexual president. It's Obama." But she didn't stop there. As the camera kept rolling, Rivers twisted the knife. "You know Michelle is a tranny." The street reporter blinked, stunned, pushing for clarification, and Rivers doubled down. She meant what she said, adding, "A transgender. We all know." This wasn't a muttered aside at a smoky club or some sanitized roast. It was out in broad daylight, captured on video, quickly making the rounds from tabloids to broadsheets like The Telegraph and The Hollywood Reporter. A taboo had just been shattered. And suddenly, the polite bubble around the Obamas popped in the harshest light imaginable.
How do you feel about Michelle Obama's hair?
I think she looks great.
You like the bangs?
I like the bangs, and it's going to save him a fortune on Botox. He shows up to the forehead now, just around here.
The fallout was immediate and brutal. Outrage thundered in, with the Anti-Defamation League publicly rebuking Rivers for her deeply offensive language. Media watchdogs lined up to label the remarks as bigotry, hate speech, and a step too far even for a woman whose career was built on trampling the line of good taste. But as always in the digital age, the backlash only seemed to turbocharge the story in the darker corners of the internet. The clip was dissected frame by frame. Within days, conspiracy forums swelled with fresh theories, snark, speculation, even grainy images purporting to show proof. To some, Rivers was now either a brave truth-teller or a reckless enemy of decency, but nobody could ignore her. The air was thick with the sense that she'd stumbled onto something volatile, and the mood among the loyalists was less outrage, more obsession.
Disturbing new details emerging tonight about the death of Joan Rivers. One of the doctors reportedly conducted an unauthorized procedure on her and then took a selfie in the operating.
But if we thought Joan was just angling for tabloid buzz, what happened next still haunts anyone who's watched these stories metastasize. Only weeks after her public detonation, on August 28th, Rivers walked into Yorkville Endoscopied in Manhattan for a routine throat procedure. The plan? Simple. Outpatient, in and out. Instead, in a move that now looks suspiciously like a plotline from a Hollywood thriller, Rivers suffered a sudden cardiac crisis on the table. Her vitals plummeted, alarms blared, and within minutes, she was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital. She lingered in a coma, and on September 4th was pronounced gone at 81. The aftermath was surgical. Official reports mapped out a domino chain of failures, nurses missing red flag vitals, staff administering the wrong anesthetic dosage, even a procedure performed without her written consent. Federal authorities called it malpractice, but in the online underworld, that word sounded more like code than closure. It didn't take long for internet detectives to roll out their own timeline. Joan shatters the ultimate taboo. Joan is gone less than a month later under a thick haze of medical blunders. Too tidy, they whispered. Too convenient. It didn't help that the state health department's investigation, meant to provide answers, served up enough botched protocol to satisfy any scriptwriter looking to blur the line between incompetence and something more calculated. Out in the open, daughter Melissa Rivers filed a malpractice suit and eventually settled for a fat check. But the chatter in the conspiracy trenches grew fevered. The real question wasn't, how did this happen, but who wanted her silenced? The narrative had legs now, and it sprinted.
She is not sorry.
They are looking forward. All the women in your life are looking forward.
All the women in my life are looking forward to being able to, live a more normal life.
Yeah, but still not entirely normal. Obviously, everybody's under the microscope at all times.
A little bit more.
And you're staying in Washington, D.C., which is unusual for an exiting president.
Fueling the drama, a detail emerged that practically begged for dramatic interpretation. While the world mourned Joan's passing, Melissa Rivers made a revelation. None other than President Obama himself sent her a handwritten condolence note. The message, not a canned staffer's line, but a personal touch. Joan made us laugh and made us think. Mainstream outlets praised the grace, but among the theory addicts, it felt like the plot thickening. Why, they asked, would the target of such a public attack go out of his way to send such a warm personal tribute? Was it genuine forgiveness? Was it, as some speculated, a public demonstration to tamp down rumors? Keep enemies closer, keep the optics perfect? The White House stayed silent, letting the letter do its work. But for those already reading between the lines, it was just more fuel. If anything, the gesture added texture to the rumor that Joan had struck a nerve in the most protected house in America. All of this should have faded into the black hole where most viral scandals end up. But every time the Rivers conspiracy began to lose momentum, a new thread yanked it back into the spotlight. It didn't hurt that professional troublemakers kept feeding the machine, none louder than Alex Jones, who went live insisting that Joan knew too much and her demise was no accident. The shoulders are too wide. We've had doctors on about this. She looks like a man, lady looks like a dude. It's true, it's a giant viral video phenomenon for like 8 years that she's a man, he blustered, all but daring viewers to connect the dots. For the record, there's never been a shred of concrete proof, just whispers and YouTube deep dives. But in this universe, absence of evidence is its own kind of evidence. A dark invitation for anyone hungry for a different ending.
Let's take Barack, for example. You still take my breath away. How?
Right.
With your anger? With your complete inability to just get with the program and show up?
At the inauguration, so I have to walk in like a lonely soldier?
We're left with a puzzle box that refuses to stay closed. Was Joan Rivers the victim of tragic medical incompetence? Or did she stumble into a hidden war with people who do not forgive, do not forget, and do not leave witnesses? Was her fate a warning, an unlucky accident, or a message to every future whistleblower with a microphone and no filter? That is the charged atmosphere Jaguar Wright is wading into now, not with a polite theory, but with a warning shot, resurrecting all the unease, all the unfinished business, and all the questions about just how far the world's most powerful family would go to keep their secrets under wraps.
Not to add insult to injury, but there's a Daily Mail report out today saying Kamala Harris's marriage may be on the rocks. Like everybody's on the rocks. Again, I will say I love the Daily Mail, but the sourcing appeared weak. It was like people who know the couple, but like I don't know if it's any better than that. But they're saying she's blaming him in part for her loss because he turned out to be such a hot mess liability. You buy it?
Now it's Jaguar Wright's turn in the spotlight, and if you thought this narrative was explosive before, just wait. Wright is not just tossing Joan Rivers' old accusations back into the social media blender. She's rebranding them, breathing new venom into the conspiracy, and naming names. She's the same Jaguar Wright who once burned her bridges with Jay-Z, Diddy, Mary J. Blige. She's racked up a laundry list of music industry feuds, each claim more sensational than the last. She doesn't whisper in back rooms, she goes live and tags the world. This time, she's fixated on the biggest, most protected name in modern American politics, and she's not mincing words. To her followers, Michelle Obama isn't just a former First Lady, she's Michael LaVaughn Robinson. That's the line Jaguar has been hawking, unapologetically, online and in interviews, insisting she has the receipts and daring the Obamas to come for her.
Going high is not losing the urgency or the passion or the rage, especially when you are justified in it. Going high means finding the purpose in your rage. You know, rage without reason, without a plan, without direction is just more rage.
We hear that Michelle Obama's legal team is quietly assembling behind the scenes, prepping to hit back. Not with a subtweet, not with an official statement. This time, it's courtrooms, subpoenas, and sworn depositions. The stakes could not be higher. If Michelle Obama's camp pulls the trigger, Jaguar Wright would be forced to step out from behind her phone and defend her claims under oath. No more allegedly, no more winking to the comment section, every wild theory, every stray DM, every pixelated photo. Suddenly, it's all evidence or it's perjury. Wright might be the kind of fire starter who thrives on chaos, but cross a line with the Obamas, and the legal firepower they can bring is nothing short of historic. Ask anyone who's gone toe-to-toe with a former First Lady's legal squad. You don't just get a slap on the wrist and a cease and desist. What's truly lighting the fuse under all this is the way old scandals are suddenly merging into a single narrative. We're watching as Wright's allegations get woven together with other rumors that, until recently, lived in separate corners of the internet. Enter Larry Sinclair, a name that had already achieved minor infamy in the wilder reaches of online gossip. Sinclair resurfaced with Tucker Carlson this year, rehashing claims from 1999 that he and Barack Obama shared an evening with illicit powder in a private rendezvous. Years ago, those allegations led Sinclair straight to police custody and a failed polygraph. But for the audience that wants to believe, facts are just speed bumps. The timing couldn't have been more perfect for Jaguar Wright. She latches onto Sinclair's retelling, Rivers' infamous jab, and her own provocations, all of it fusing into a single toxic package. The chorus of conspiracy grows louder. Was Joan Rivers warning us? Is Sinclair's story connected? Has Jaguar really uncovered a secret so big that even the most powerful players in America would scramble to keep it buried?
More fuel on the fire that there's a potential, maybe a divorce or some sort of rockiness going on in the Obamas' relationship. They both posted these mirrored, very choreographed Valentine's Day messages on X.
All the while, mainstream outlets try to keep their distance, but the tension is impossible to ignore. On one side, years of innuendo, grainy screenshots, and shadowy stories, none of it ever confirmed, but none of it fully going away. On the other, a former First Lady known for grace under pressure, now reportedly ready to unleash the legal hounds. It's a collision course. If Michelle Obama files a defamation suit, the whole circus moves from TikTok to a real courtroom. Suddenly, the audience isn't just anonymous avatars. It's a judge, a jury, and a bank of reporters live tweeting every development. Jaguar Wright would have to provide actual evidence, not just viral rants. There's no emoji for proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And for the first time, the world might see whether these theories can stand up to cross-examination, or if they'll collapse like every other internet fever dream that's gone before.
And that's the thing is, so the Bidens and the Obamas hate each other because Michelle Obama is very good friends with Hunter Biden's ex-wife. So that's led to a significant problem where they don't like Hunter, and if you don't like Hunter, Joe doesn't like you. So I would not be surprised if Holmes is right on with this of like, oh, well, why don't we do this?
It's like, oh man, you give us problems, maybe you can have a problem.
We've seen how the legal threat alone can be enough to silence most voices. But Jaguar isn't most voices. She seems to crave confrontation, almost begging for her day in court. She teases documents and insider tips, but so far, nothing that would withstand a second glance from a real investigator. If this heads to trial, it won't just be about Michelle Obama's reputation. It'll be about whether the entire genre of online celebrity conspiracy finally meets its match. Will Jaguar cough up actual receipts? Or will we see once and for all that behind every viral accusation is just another layer of performance, engineered to keep us watching, arguing, and above all, speculating?
Right, and I think one of the things that we all have to work through is learning how to decode when that fear is going to help us and when it's holding us back. Because you come out here every night and you make it look easy, but I know that there is always a thing in people who are in the public eye where you have to get over that crest of fear and get out here and do your thing.
It's impossible to ignore the role Joan Rivers' own reputation plays in keeping these theories alive. She didn't just court controversy, she dragged it behind her like a Louis Vuitton trunk at the airport. By the time she hurled her infamous accusations at the Obamas, Rivers had already spent decades making enemies in Hollywood, burning bridges with an almost athletic regularity. She delighted in roasting A-list actors, calling out schmuck writers, and skewering the likes of Kristen Stewart and the entire Kardashian clan. When Kristen Stewart threatened to sue her over jokes about her career, Rivers fired back on television, never backing down. For the Kardashians, she reserved some of her sharpest lines, lampooning them at every red carpet opportunity. She was a heat-seeking missile for celebrity ego, and no star, no matter how beloved or powerful, was safe when Joan got a microphone in her hand. The most telling flashpoint, just weeks before her fateful clinic visit, came in her now legendary clash with CNN. Invited for what was supposed to be a puff-piece interview, Rivers instead stormed off the set when called mean by anchor Frederica Whitfield. The moment went viral, Joan tearing off her mic, tossing an insult over her shoulder, and leaving producers scrambling. To her critics, this was classic Rivers, always refusing to apologize. But to her fans and many in the conspiracy crowd, it's remembered as one of her last public displays of defiance, a final warning shot before things spiraled out of control. The woman who'd made a living out of sparring with the famous suddenly looked like a fighter outnumbered, walking off not just a TV set, but possibly, some believe, off the edge of safety itself.
So here's the thing, and this is one other theory of the case. Maybe Jennifer Aniston is the Biden's answer to George Clooney here, right? I mean, maybe this, because I'll be honest, I have heard this sort of thing rumbling around in DC, and there's some connections there with the people, what you would call reputable people because they served in an administration.
Even her defenders would admit Joan Rivers thrived on outrage. She built her career by smashing boundaries, always pushing further than her peers dared. But this history, the way she repeatedly taunted the rich and powerful, is what gives conspiracy theorists so much ammunition. Was it just another day at the office for Joan to take on a president and first lady? Or did she cross some invisible line that separated comic provocation from dangerous truth-telling? The fact that so many of her former targets had shrugged her off or sparred with her in public, only for this particular confrontation to end so abruptly, is the psychological lever that keeps so many guessing. It's that ambiguity. Whether Joan was simply a relentless provocateur or someone who finally overstepped into forbidden territory, that lingers like static in the background of every theory. Maybe she was just another comic chasing headlines until the very end. But maybe, as some now claim, the difference this time was the power of the people she mocked. Her legacy is tangled up in that question, and every new rumor, every fresh accusation from the likes of Jaguar Wright turns the volume back up on a mystery that refuses to fade away.
Jennifer Aniston, it was her circle of friends there allegedly discussing this. I mean, we don't know, but
that's how you know it's true.
Is it so
Women
hard
will
to
never keep a
believe?
secret. Like, when a woman tells another woman, yeah, you can tell me, I'll keep a secret, the phone's already out. Now it's about to hit a group chat. So that is, to me, the most conclusive piece of evidence.
Let's not forget the wild ripple effect if this hits a judge's docket. Every single wild post, every leak, every meme suddenly becomes potential evidence. The Obamas have kept their private life locked up tighter than Fort Knox, but courtrooms don't respect celebrity. If there's discovery, anything could come out. Phone records, emails, social messages, fueling a media frenzy that would make the Trump hush money circus look like local news. Meanwhile, Jaguar's supporters would take every missed filing, every procedural delay as proof of a deeper cover-up. And if she produces nothing? Well, conspiracy forums have never let the absence of evidence get in the way of a good story. They'll just claim the real dirt was hidden or that the judge is in on it. We've seen the script before, but never with the Obamas in the crosshairs and someone like Jaguar refusing to back down. For Michelle Obama, this is more than just a hit to her public image. It's a test of how much ugliness the system will allow and what it actually takes to make a scandal vanish in 2025. For Jaguar Wright, it's her chance to either cement her place as the internet's ultimate whistleblower or go down as just another digital provocateur who flew too close to the sun. And circling above it all are the echo chambers of YouTube and Telegram, stoking every twist and turn, waiting to see if the truth, or at least the best story, finally comes out. We're at a point where celebrity rumor and hard news are separated by little more than a lawyer's signature, and the stakes have never been higher.
But if it is true, it truly would be a political earthquake in Democrat circles. Never mind America. I don't remember a presidential divorce in modern history.
So what happens if Michelle Obama goes through with this lawsuit? If Jaguar Wright actually gets her day in court, will the internet finally see receipts? Or just more recycled innuendo? Could this be the scandal that exposes a real hidden truth? Or will it go down as another wild goose chase that leaves everyone still arguing in the comments? Let us know what you think below. Are we about to witness history or just the next chapter in America's longest-running gossip obsession? Stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled, and remember, in this business, the only thing more shocking than the rumors is when one finally turns out to be true. Until next time, keep watching the headlines and your back